couldn't have placed that any better if I tried. Mother Nature planted that dandelion in the crotch of a tree. Welcome to Diggin with Deej. It's supposed to get up to 58 degrees today. Beautiful sunny day. And I am working on a long overdue video. I believe it was in January, but don't quote me on it. Ron, Just Diggin Life, challenged me to do a video about how I got started metal detecting. With everything that was going on after the holidays and the COVID-19 pandemic, I am just now getting around to working on it. So forgive me, Ron. I'm sorry it's late, but better late than never. So let's get on with it. Grab a refreshment, something cool to drink, and sit back and relax. And let me tell you my story. Okay, so how did I get started metal detecting? Well, actually I got started treasure hunting first. When I was young, I'm saying between 10 and 12, I asked for a metal detector. I wanted a metal detector for my birthday. And metal detectors had just come out, so they were kind of a pricey kind of item. Just like sometimes they are now, depending on the brand. And it was a hobby that mainly boys were doing. So I don't think my parents took me seriously. I'm not sure, or it may have been something that they couldn't afford to get me. I come from a blue-collar family. But in those days, there were boys' hobbies and there were girls' hobbies. And growing up, I was a tomboy. I'd build forts. When we were raking leaves around our cottage, on the lake, I would find salamanders and be playing with salamanders. Catch snakes, catch frogs, turtles. I remember one summer, when it was super hot, my parents would sleep in the bed on the porch. And they'd go to sleep at night hearing the turtles clawing away at the screen and the wooden floor of the front porch. I even won a contest catching the biggest bullfrog. My dad took me seriously on that. He knew I was a tomboy. And I asked him to row me in the rowboat down to the cove because I knew where there was going to be a big bullfrog. And I literally jumped out of the boat with my hands like this and caught that bullfrog. Caught the biggest bullfrog on the lake in the contest. So, I did a lot of exploring. There was a lot of open land, state land around us. It wasn't built up like it is now. And I found my first dump. And I started collecting old pop bottles. So as a child, I would go spend time with my grandparents, my great aunt and uncle, my grandma Coon on Hess Lake across the state. And I was spending time with my grandpa and Elsie, my step-grandma, in Bailey, Michigan, which is on the west side of the state. And Grandpa had a farm. He was also the postmaster. And while I was visiting, his horse, Old Sol was his name, S-O-L. There was a train track that ran alongside his farm, and Old Sol got out, knocked down the fence or something, got hit by the train. And I was really upset about it. So I left all the excitement and went for a walk because I couldn't look at it anymore. And discovered the old farm dump. Now my grandfather's farm, he was third generation to live on that farm. And I found this dump, and I noticed blue glass and stuff, so it drew me closer. And started digging around, found a giant piece of ironstone crack and started digging around with that in the dirt and found my first antique clay pipe. And kept digging more and found 2 more. So my first 3 clay pipes I've ever found were on a 4-generation family farm. Let's see. Great-great-grandfather, grandfather, great-great-grandfather, great-grandfather, grandfather. So 3-generation farm. So I was thrilled. Found all kinds of neat things. So it was kind of in my blood from childhood. When Grandpa and Elsie passed away, Elsie's son, I believe it was her son, put the farm up for sale, took care of all the arrangements for the funeral, put the farm up for sale, had a big auction for everything on the farm. And we didn't find out about the auction until the morning of. So I quick drove 3 hours across the state, or 2.5, whatever it was. When I got there, the auction was over. I was so disappointed. I mean, we would have liked to have been able to bid on some of the family stuff. So Elsie's brother, my step-uncle, said, well, go ahead and walk around, check the barn out. If there's anything you want, take it. So I did manage to find a cobbler's. It's built like a basket, but it's made out of wood. It's like a toolbox with a handle. I did manage to find my grandfather's old, it may have been a great-great-grandfather's or older, old toolbox or cobbler's box. I did manage to find that. And I went inside, and he says, there's some things here that never got bid on, and he says, I think you should have them because they have family importance. And one was a set of bone china from England, salt and pepper shakers that were messed up. I mean, they weren't perfect by any means. Blue and white porcelain. And then he had gotten a call after I had arrived there when I was out going through the barn from my mother saying that she wanted me to have Grandma's table because it was her mother's table. And that. So luckily I had a pickup truck and I hauled the table home. And that is the table that sits in my living room by the window, which I still have. I had it refinished and put it there. And on that trip, I went for a walk one last time on the farm before it sold. And walked back to the dump and started digging in the dump. And saw something gold and shiny sticking out of the dirt. And pulled out a kerosene parlor lamp, pieces of it. 2 pieces were still together, and then the base was, I found later on. And it resembles a parlor lamp that was used in the movie Gone with the Wind. It's very similar. It would have had a bubble glass top on it with a hurricane coming up the middle. So I was happy to have found that and that. And then when I left, it was years before I went back, and had to go back for a family funeral, stopped by the old house, knocked on the door and asked them if we could walk around the farm, explained who we are, and he said to me, the new owner said to me, they left furniture and stuff in this house. They didn't clean it all out when we bought it. Do you want this? Because we don't want it. And I said, want what? And he goes, a dresser, and it has the original receipt for it in the top drawer. And I said, sure. I had the truck. I said, sure. So he helped me get it in the truck, and I brought that back. So, fast forward, that would have been 10 years ago, between 9 and 10 years ago, I started dating a guy, and we had a date planned for the upcoming Saturday, and we were having dinner together, and he goes, I've got to change our plans. I said, what's up? He goes, well, some of my friends and I are going metal detecting. I said, cool. I said, I've always wanted to try that. Can I go with you? He goes, you really want to go? I said, yes. I've always wanted to go metal detecting. And he had an extra machine. It was a Garrett Ace series. I don't know if it was a 250 or a 350. I don't remember which one it was. And went metal detecting. His friends thought it was so strange that a girl wanted to metal detect. And my first coin that I found was a German 1 Pfennig. And I was hooked. Shortly after that hunt with Rich and his friends, I moved closer to my sons. And managed to close on a house. And a month after I closed on the house, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. I went all the way through the cancer treatments. 6 months after I survived, went through all the treatments, I started the week after 4th of July 1 year, and I finished several months later into the next year. And 6 months after I finished, my friend Rich dropped dead of a heart attack. So I didn't metal detect anymore after that, because I never had my own detector. I always used his. Well, my boys started getting concerned about me. For a while, I dealt with something they call chemo fatigue. And it was hard to motivate. I just didn't have any energy. It took me a long time to get back into the swing of things. And that year, for Christmas, they always ask me what I want for Christmas. And I never know what I want, and it makes them so mad. And that year, I said, I need something to keep me active, to help me be active. Maybe a gym membership. No, I'm not buying you a gym membership. Nobody ever uses gym memberships. So I said, I want a metal detector. And they're going, really? I said, really? I did that. I said, I tried it a few times with Rich, and I loved it. It was so much fun. Well, where would you metal detect? Oh, there's lots of places. I know everybody that lives around here. I'll be able to get permissions. So my boys got me my first metal detector. They gave me the money to buy it, and it was an Ace 400, a Garrett Ace 400. And I took it out the day that I got it. Had the guys at work help me put it together. Got home from work. Tried it in my backyard. And the first thing I dug up in my backyard was one of those disabled veterans key fob that if they lose their keys, that they would be mailed free of charge anywhere in the United States. You know, back to them. That was the first thing I found in my yard. So, and I've been hooked ever since. And never dreamed that I would ever have a YouTube channel. So that's how I got started metal detecting and treasure hunting. Thank you, Ron, for choosing me for this challenge. And I have to choose 3 people. I choose Metal Pirate Girl. I choose Dinger 51. And I choose Chocolate Cherry Coins. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it gives you a little more insight into the type of person I am. And I appreciate all your support and watching my videos. And get out there and find some treasure. It's just out there waiting for us to save some history. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. These are huge skunk cabbage. And right next to them, beautiful marsh marigolds.